Hello, welcome to Scented Pages. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I have a few books that I wanted to talk about with everybody that I've been having fun reading over the past few weeks. But first, how is everyone? I hope that all is going well. This weather has been terrible, so I hope that everyone stayed safe and that you were able to get back and forth to work okay without too many issues. And yeah, I've got some what is this? It's plain water, not plain water. It's water, but I've got a flavor pack in it. Kiwi lime by Weiler's. It's good. So I read, I think maybe 6 books. Oh, the perfume. Honey, this is a good one too. I can't believe I almost forgot it. It is, and I'm gonna put the. Oh no, I can look the notes up actually right now. So you're gonna have to excuse the bottle, but it still works. The sprayer broke. I don't know how that broke, and it came off, and I can't use another one because this part is just not working. But if I turn it upside down, honey, and just work it a little bit, it got. Oh my goodness! It is White Diamonds Night. So I had the En Rouge, I have the original, but this night one is everything. And you're gonna have to excuse my hair, honey. You know what? Let me update my bag. You're gonna have to excuse me. My bonnet. I am in the middle. Well, actually not in the middle. I'm actually almost done, but I can't get on the interwebs and not have my hair all the way done, or at least covered up. So I've got a sparkle bonnet for you. And next time I will be all the way done up and whatnot. But this is what you get today. You get the sparkle bonnet and some hoops. And voila. And White Diamonds Night is by Elizabeth Taylor. Let me look up the notes real quick because I don't even know. Oh my goodness. I don't know what's in it. Let me see. I'm smelling. Smells like leather. I'm smelling a leather. I bet not. I bet not. I don't think that a leather would be in leather note. But I do want to know what's in it. This is amazing. So let us see. White Diamonds Night. Okay. So its main accords are woody, fruity, powdery, citrus, amber, white floral, balsamic, patchouli, sweet, and warm, spicy, woody. Absolutely. And powdery. Oh my goodness. Let's see. It was released in 2016. Let me see. It has top notes of apricot, mandarin orange, and bergamot. Middle notes are night blooming jasmine, freesia, base, no, sandalwood. Maybe that's the leathery kind of that I'm smelling. But yeah, I should. Definitely woody. Okay, base notes are resin, sandalwood, patchouli, and musk. But this night blooming jasmine, oh my goodness. It's a flower, intense, sweet jasmine-like fragrance. Beautiful. Other names for it are tree of sorrow, coral jasmine, parijat, and sapalika. I'll put this all up so that you can see. I think it's so interesting. Night blooming jasmine and freesia. I always like the freesia note. It's a fresh, spicy, powdery floral. Mmm. Frasier always hits just right. Okay. So there you have it. White Diamonds Night. Hey, so let's get into these books. Hmm. I got a couple of things going on because it was a lot going on. Okay. Two of them are about revenge sex, honey. Mm. And two are about people being in your home. And the other two are the last two of the Freedom McFadden Housemaid series books. So let's get into it. All right. The Bridesmaid was my first book by Tanisha Stewart. I gave it 4 stars. It was good, but a little confusing to me. Maybe because it was me. I had a lot going on at that time of my life when I was reading this. I said, but I don't have a lot to say on it because of that reason. I had a lot going on and I was very distracted. That also speaks for the book because it was what I used to keep me, to get me through a very stressful week and time in my life. And I can tell you that it is worth the listen, and everything wrapped up nicely in the end. But I can't tell you what the ending was. It was good and a page turner with good twists that I appreciated. The Bridesmaids was about Kelsey. I forgot the. Oh my goodness. You know what? I did not. I'm gonna have to. Because I didn't put the descriptions for them in here. Well, you know what? I'll just read it right off of Goodreads because I had it already in my phone. I'll just read it right off of Goodreads. Okay. So, The Bridesmaid by Tanisha Stewart. I'm also reading The Neighbor by her right now, which is just as good. This whole series. So The Bridesmaid and The Neighbor and The Babysitter, all of those are part of a series of hers called the Red Series, and they can all be read individually as standalones. They're all really good in their own way. So The Bridesmaid by Tanisha Stewart is about, it says, violets are blue, roses are red. Your sister can't get married if she winds up dead. The Bridesmaid is a pulse-pounding psychological thriller by the best-selling author of Everybody Ain't Your Friend and The Quiet One series. Casey's life is full of scandalous secrets. On the outside, she is bright, well-adjusted. Yeah, she is a bright, well-adjusted young woman about to embark on a blessed future with the love of her life. On the inside, everything that's happening is part of a much darker plan. One she hopes no one will find out about because if they do, it could bring deadly consequences. She's on the brink of her future, but on the morning of her wedding, she suddenly disappears. Where is Casey? No one knows, but they are about to find out. And what's more is that Casey isn't the only one holding secrets. Here is just the tip of the iceberg. So yeah, spoiler, there's like a kid that pops up. Casey, really was dead. Like I read it a little bit while ago, and like I said, I was going through quite a few different little things at the time, so I couldn't devote all of my time to it. But like I said, with that being said, it was a really good book. It was a page turner. It was something good to use as an escape and to feel better with. So I really enjoyed it. Casey, I do remember, however, not Casey, but her sister. I don't know what her sister's name is. I can't remember right now, but she was a mess. Casey was a mess too, because I think she was mean or something was with her. But her sister was pretty grimy. I'll leave it at that. It's a really good book. All right. Then next, I have The Other Woman by Eric Jerome Dickey. gave it 5 stars. It was excellent. The description is Eric Jerome Dickey strides boldly over the minefield that is modern marriage. The central couple's biggest challenge is timing. He works days, she works nights. Instead of growing together, they're rapidly drifting apart, coexisting on stolen phone calls from work, punctuated by occasional bedroom encounters that leave them both feeling even emptier and more alone. When she finds out about his affair and starts her own, the delicate fabric of their marriage is torn irrevocably asunder. Or is it? In Dickey's expert hands, what begins as a seemingly unforgivable betrayal segues into the sexy and searing story of a man and a woman at a pivotal turning point in their relationship. Only time will tell whether they'll let it all go or can hold on to the love that drew them together in the first place. Honey, this is one of the stories about the revenge sex. It was so good. Oh my goodness, this was terribly delicious. The other woman, what did I do? The review. Oh my goodness. I didn't click out of the review. Okay, here we go. I said, the ending blew me away. So good. Nothing like a good climax and ending. I can't remember the main character's real name, but her co-worker friend calls her Freckles so much that I remember. So I don't know if that was her real name, was ever really said in the book at all. I don't think so. I think that her name in the book was just, everybody just called her Freckles, and she was just referred to as Freckles. One day, Freckles receives a phone call while at work, and the guy known as David Lawrence, aka ADL, ever so gently informs her that her husband, named Charles, and his wife, named Jessica, are in love, having an affair, and planning on leaving them for one another. Freckles and DL began to talk to sort out their feelings and their hurt. They wish that they had met one another instead of their partners because they truly have chemistry. This book was good and interesting because it walks you through the first 3 days of the aftermath of finding out Freckles is being cheated on by her husband and how absolutely blindsided she is by it all. It's one thing when a relationship is actually falling apart or unhappy and then someone cheats, but it's another thing when a couple is seemingly, fine, and then a partner cheats. Yeah, they had their little stuff, but it wasn't anything that they couldn't work on. Anyway, I said that can just really knock a person off their feet when they think of all the times that they have been lied to. Not just the one time that the sex happened, but all the times that it takes to lie in order to carry on the affair. Eric writes so well the emotional rage and damage it does to a person. Freckles was so hurt. She asked a series of really great questions about the affair and the nature of it. I didn't get a chance to write them all down, but I will if I can borrow the book again sometime soon. It's spicy, and Freckles definitely gets her guts rearranged, and it's described in juicy graphic details. So reader, be warned. I was here for it. I'm all for a good revenge F. Because that's an even score. That is what I will call an eye for an eye. You get cheated on and you cheat back. You cheat back and then you leave. That's what you do. I can't get behind she got cheated on and then hauled off and killed the man. That takes things too far. But the ending in this book, this is the thing. In a situation like this kind of cheating, what I'll say is not this kind of cheating. The thing about cheating is that you really can't tell a person how to react to something like that. I could say, to kill a person is going too far. The next woman might feel as though it's far enough. She might feel as though, that's exactly where she want to take things. But, the ending of the book was great. So I'm not going to give it away, but it's definitely a Twizzler Twister. Mm. I gave it 5 stars. Excellent book. The next I have Cutthroat by Octavia Grant. This was so good. This was recommended to me by my reading sister, Kyra. So, this was another one about some good revenge. Revenge. Description. Eden Shelton was once told that you can't spell embarrassment without men. In the end, that's funny. She never believed it because according to her, there was nothing better than being a wife to a loving and appreciative man. Marrying her college sweetheart seemed to make everything in her life better. But when her rose-colored glasses are removed, Eden discovers that the man she planned to walk through life forever with has secrets. Secrets that will change who she is forever. I gave it 5 stars. I said, now I thought The Other Woman by Eric Jerome Dickey was a doozy of a revenge story after getting cheated on. Honey, ain't have nothing on Miss Eden, honey. This story follows 3 sisters, Eden, the oldest, Eve, the middle, and Envy, the youngest, who don't exactly have the best relationship, while the 2 oldest do, but not with the youngest, Envy. And that is because Envy has been sleeping with her sister Eden's husband behind Eden's back. The way that Eden gets them both back is the most diabolical revenge sex story I have ever read in my life. Eden did that, is all I'm going to say. Even with that being said, I still think she took it too far. Spoilers. I just really don't think that murder needs to happen over cheating. But at the same time, Envy's evil ass needed to go. Somebody had to do it. I just don't think that having sex with someone ever justifies murder. Now, other factors may weigh in that could justify that as a means to an end. Having weird sexual proclivities, Other than that, I don't really see it. But 2 consenting adults being a piece of crap, that they don't need to die over there. They're just a piece of shit. Just everybody needs to just move on. Is what it is. So those were the 2 revenge stories. Oh my goodness. They were fun. Okay, so now I guess we could talk about the Housemaid series real quick. Get that done. So I read The Housemaid's Secret and The Housemaid is Watching. So, The Housemaid's Secret by Frida McFadden, I gave 5 stars. And it says, its description is, as he continues showing me their incredible penthouse apartment, I have a terrible feeling about the woman behind closed doors, but I can't risk losing this job, not if I want to keep my darkest secret safe. It's hard to find an employer who doesn't ask too many questions about my past, so I thank my lucky stars that the Garricks miraculously give me a job, cleaning their stunning penthouse with views across the city and preparing fancy meals in their shiny kitchen. I can work here for a while, stay quiet until I get what I want. It's almost perfect, but I still haven't met Mrs. Garrick or seen inside the guest bedroom. I'm sure I hear her crying. I notice spots of blood around the neck of her white nightgowns while I'm doing laundry, and one day I can't help but knock on the door. When it gently swings open, what I see inside changes everything. That's when I make a promise. After all, I've done this before. I can protect Mrs. Garrett while keeping my own secrets locked up safe. Douglas Garrett has done wrong. He is going to pay. It's simply a question of how far I'm willing to go. Excuse you! Get out, Cheesy Pizza Puff. Move your butt. He is terrible, making all this noise. Move! Get out of my camera. So, um, I said 5 stars. First of all, let me just say that Millie is better than me. Better than I could ever be, because after the events of book one with Nina and Andrew's bat-ish crazy situation, I would have never set foot in another person's house as a maid again. And then in the beginning of this book, she had some weird experience with a couple that she got fired from because the couple's baby kept calling her mama, and the wife got mad and fired her. So this was like the third situation where Millie is in dealing with a crazy woman slash wife in this lady's home. How many times has she got to get turned every way but loose before she stays out of people's houses? She gave Brock the runaround when she should have just broken up with him. He clearly was just a placeholder for the true love of her life, Enzo. It was a good book. I like the moving along with the events of time. He's getting on my nerves. He's been kind of the worst all morning, and I don't understand what his problem is. Goodness, what's wrong with the beesies? Why are you so hyper today? Then next I read The Housemaid is Watching by Frida McFadden, and I gave it 4 stars. Oh no, I didn't. I gave it 5 stars, my bad. I gave it 5 stars, and the description is: "You must be our new neighbor." Miss Lowell gushes and waves across the picket fence. I clutch my daughter's hand and smile back. But the second Miss Lowell sees my husband, a strange expression crosses her face. In that moment, I make a promise. We finally have a family home. My past is far, far behind us, and I'll do anything to keep it that way. I used to clean other people's houses. Now I can't believe this home is actually mine. Is actually mine. The charming kitchen, the quiet cul-de-sac, the huge yard where my kids can play. My husband and I saved for years to give our children the life they deserve. Even though I'm wary of our new neighbor, Mrs. Lowell, when she invites us over for dinner, it's our chance to make friends. Her maid opens the door wearing a white apron. Her hair is in a tight bun. I know exactly what it's like to be in her shoes, but her cold stare gives me chills. The Lowell's maid isn't the only strange thing on our street. I'm sure I see a shadowy figure watching us. My husband leaves the house late at night, and when I meet a woman who lives across the way, her words chill me to the bone. Be careful of your neighbors. Did I make a terrible mistake moving my family here? I thought I'd left my darkest secrets behind, but could this quiet suburban street be the most dangerous place of all? From New York Times bestselling U.S. Today and Wall Street Journal's bestselling author Frida McFadden comes the next installment of the unbelievable, twisty, tension-packed, blah, 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 blah. The Housemaid is Watching. It was good. The first one and the last one were my 2 favorite books in the series. I said 5 stars. I enjoyed this wrap-up to Millie's story, although she was pretty annoying in this book. This book is set 10 years into the future, and Millie and Enzo have married and had 2 children, Ada, 11, and Nico, 9 years old. She is so accusatory and was seemingly on her way to acting exactly how Nina was like fake acting in that first book, just really over the top and weirdly annoying for no reason. The way that she treated her maid Martha at first was so reminiscent of Nina's weird ass in the first book. She irritated me so bad when she came across that broken vase, and she just knew that the maid Martha had broken it for no other reason than the lady had been staring at her awkwardly. And she just was weirded out by her. Like it was impossible for anyone else in the house to have broken it. Like she doesn't have kids and a rambunctious little boy. There were other insufferable things that she did that just made me sort of kind of dislike her a bit in this story. Like her allowing her son Nico to go over to the Lowells and work off his debt after he broke their stained glass window. Like, oh no. And to go over to Janice's house to play with Spencer without knowing these people at all, or her not being more alarmed that Nico was sneaking out of the house late at night by himself at 9 years old to go over to Janice's house to play with Spencer. It just all seemed asinine to me. Speaking of Janice, that nut bunny was entirely too much. And as soon as Millie saw her with Spencer on a leash at the big age of 9 or 10, that should have been reason enough for her to keep Nico from having play dates with him. Something is off. No, you cannot hang out with the kid on the leash. But Janice was not even the tip of the iceberg of weirdos in this little neighborhood called Sac. That Suzette and Jonathan Lowell were the icing on the weird ass cake. This was a good one because I liked how the writer, Frida, got Millie's kids involved with everything. Little Ada was the real MVP of this book. I enjoy how Frida infuses little personality traits from each of their parents as we've come to get to know them over the past few books into their personalities. We see Millie and her daughter Ada, especially in the end. We see glimpses of feisty, rambunctious Enzo and their son Nico with all of his many behavioral problems throughout the book. I enjoyed the epilogue on this one. It didn't irritate me and undo everything that I had just listened to for 12 hours. It simply put a bow on things, and thank you for that. I enjoyed this series, and I see why it was such a hit for Frida. And I'm glad that I took as long as I did to read it so that I can now enjoy the movie. So yeah, and I actually did watch the movie. I watched the movie day before yesterday, something like that. It was excellent. It was not exactly like the book, but pretty close. I see a couple of little things that they did that was a little bit different. I like when they did the perspective change midway, about halfway through or whatever. Um, it was good seeing it, and it was also nice seeing Amanda Seyfried on screen. I haven't seen her in a while. I used to think she was so pretty, so I liked seeing her in a more mature role. And with the other girl, I can't think of her name, Cassie or whatever. It was nice seeing them in a movie together. It was cute. It was given Lifetime. It was given Frida. It was given everything I wanted it to. I enjoyed it. Okay. Next, we'll get into intruders. So now we just want to stay out of people's houses. Okay? You don't want to invite anybody in. You don't want any nurses. You don't want nobody, no nothing coming into your house. I invited her in by Adele Parks. 5 stars. It was excellent. I love this. And it is about when Mel hears from a long lost friend in need of help, she doesn't hesitate to invite her to stay. Mel and Abby were best friends back in the day, sharing the highs and lows of student life until Mel's unplanned pregnancy made her drop out of her studies. Now, 17 years later, Mel and Abby's lives couldn't be more different. Mel is happily married, having raised her son on her own before meeting her husband, Ben. Now they share gorgeous girls and have a chaotic but happy family home with 3 children. Abby, meanwhile, followed her lover to LA for a glamorous life of parties, celebrity, and indulgence. Everything was perfect until she discovered her partner had been cheating on her. 17 years wasted and nothing to show for it. So, what Abby needs now is a true friend to lean on, to share her grief over a glass of wine, and to have some time to heal. And what better place than Mel's house with her lovely kids and supportive husband? This dark unsettling tale of the reunion of long lost friends is thoroughly gripping exploration of wanting what you can't have, jealousy, and revenge from Sunday Times bestseller Adele Parks. I loved this. This was perfect. Okay. I think I read a whole lot. I mean, I wrote a whole lot. Oh, well, it's not too bad. Let me get a drink. I said, excellent. I'd have beat the dog crap out of Abigail. This book was so good. I didn't even know where to begin. I don't even know where to begin. Spoilers all throughout this review. So if you want to read it first and then come back to this. This book is about two women, Mel and Abigail, who were friends like way back in their early university years. Well, for one year exactly, because after their first year, Mel fell pregnant and decides to leave university to have her son Liam. She does, and time moves on. Mel ends up eventually meeting her husband Ben and having two more children, little girls, Imogen, and I forgot the other girl's name. But Ben raises Liam as if he were his own son from like the age of 6 on up. So they're really close and have a really good relationship. Also, Ben is black. Abigail ends up finishing university and marries Rob, her university boyfriend, and having a life as like a TV actress. But now she and Rob are separated and divorcing. So she emails Mel one day, seemingly out of the blue, and asks her if she would like to reconnect and catch up for a few weeks while she recuperates just after her separation. So Mel invites Abigail to stay with she and her family for a while. And at first, Abigail and Mel are just partying and catching up, and it's just a bit much. But Ben kind of grits his teeth and bears it for a couple of days, understanding that Mel hasn't seen her friend in years, and she doesn't really get to do this often. But after a while, Abigail still hasn't left, and Ben begins to get annoyed by it because now Mel is constantly coming home drunk and she's slacking off with her responsibilities like as a wife and a mother, and he and the girls hardly see her anymore. She's barely cooking and doing housework, and the girls are kind of like off of their regular schedule. So she's like, he's like, tapping his watch, like, okay, how much longer is she gonna be here now? Because her presence is starting to get on my nerves, and she's messing up my life rhythm. So, not to mention that since she's been there, she hasn't really been that good of a friend to Mel. And that's another thing that Ben is kind of mad about, because Abigail never really helps to like clean up after dinner or clean her own messes. She hogs up the bathroom. At important times, she smokes in the house and disregards how he feels about that. And Mel doesn't put her foot down with her. Like, Mel doesn't say anything to Abigail about any of the issues that he has. So she's just content with letting her friends stay there and recuperate for as long as she needs. She's just brushing off Ben's concerns. So, on top of all of this, as I'm reading this book, Abigail is like saying weird things about Liam, the oldest kid. So at this point in their lives, Liam has grown up to be about 17, going on 18 years old. As a matter of fact, he turns 18 in the book. He's handsome or whatever. He's a cute, he also has a cute little girlfriend named Tanya. And let me see. Oh, he's on his way to graduating high school and being off to university. So at the start of this book, he's kind of like starting his young adult life. So when Melanie called him her man son in the book, and I laughed for like an hour. Hilarious. So anyway, this story was the worst case of when the chickens come home to roost 20 years later, honey. I do think that this was worse than Cutthroat's revenge sex. I also think that this revenge sex may be the only justification for Smurder behind sex. There is a slap that happens in this book, and it pisses me off beyond festivity. Because how? How did Melanie allow this woman to come into her home and upend everything the way that she does and then get slapped? Like, Abigail slapped her. And I also laughed at that for a good hour, 2 hours, because, wow, the first thing that should have happened was y'all just should have had a slap happy good time. Like, everybody should have been getting slapped. Anyway, ow, and she didn't slap her back. That's what pissed me off the most, is that first of all, she ruined everything. Then she slapped her, and Abigail didn't and Melanie did not slap her back. Melanie didn't slap Abigail back. Why? Oh my goodness. I said I wanted Abigail and Melanie to go at it. Something juicy does happen, but it's not the all-out claws-bared cat fight that I had hoped for and that I wanted to really happen. I should take a point off of that, but it was so good other than that I really didn't need it. Didn't need a drag-out fight or whatever. It was just a really good book. It didn't need to have a drag-out fight because the whole book was draggy in a good way. It was long. It's a thick book. It was long, but it was so good. So, the twist was twisting, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. 5 stars. 5 stars. Mm-hmm. For I Invited Her In by Del Park. Now, what's the next one? Let me see. I think I have one last one. Yes. And Don't Invite Him In is the last one, and that is by Lisa Jewell. No, Don't Let Him In by Lisa Jewell. I gave it 3 stars. I said, he's the perfect man. It's a perfect lie. Nina Swan is intrigued when she received a condolence card from Nick Radcliffe, an old friend of her late husband, who was looking to connect after her husband's unexpected death. Nick is a man of substance and good taste. He has a smile that could melt the coldest heart and a knack for putting others at ease. But to Nina's adult daughter, Ash, Nick seems too slick, too polished, too good to be true. Without telling her mother, Ash begins digging into Nick's past. What she finds is more than unsettling. Martha is a florist living in a neighboring town with her infant daughter and her devoted husband, Alastair. But lately, Alastair has been traveling more and more frequently for work, disappearing for days at a time. And when Martha questions him about his frequent absences, he always has a legitimate explanation. But Martha can't share the feeling that he can't share the feeling that something isn't right. Nina, Martha, and Ash are on a collision course with a shocking truth that is far darker than anyone could have imagined. And all 3 are about to wish they had heeded the same warning. Don't let him in. But the past won't stay buried forever. Stop letting people that you don't know into your house. Long story short, that's how you wrap that up. But then we wouldn't have a story. We wouldn't have a story. I said, there were a lot of different time jumps and a lot of different perspective changes. I gave it 3 stars. Okay, yeah, because there were a lot of different time jumps and a lot of different perspective changes from the female characters. Also, the main antagonist, Nick, has like 7 different identities. It made it a little hard to keep up with the story, but it was enjoyable. I liked it. It reminded me of an old episode of America's Most Wanted about this man who had scammed dozens of women out of millions of dollars, dating them and sexing them and selling them dreams in exchange for their money. So much so that his ass had made it to America's Most Wanted. So it happens in real life. But the guy Nick in this book is just the worst kind of person. He's a jealous, sneaky manipulator, and I loved his accent. He seems very suave and like some women could easily be taken advantage of by him, and he knows it. So he just resorts to being a Deuce Bigelow male gigolo hoe. I hate an ambiguous ending. So not only did the story confuse me a bit with all of its cast of characters in one man, but then we get an ending that's kind of up in the air. 3 stars for it. Yeah, that's it. Oh, we've been talking for long enough. That's it. Those are my. I think I got done all 6 of the books. So I am reading. I might have mentioned this. My physical books right now. The Client by John Grisham. Let me see where I'm at with that one. And I'm also reading A Deeper Love Inside by Sister Soldier. I'm really enjoying them. I'm liking them. And then as far as nonfiction, I have a Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. I might do a video book talk on this one. Maybe. We'll see. So that's what I'm reading right now. I think that's it. Next weekend, I want to do a fun video where because I got this new app on my phone and I want to scan my physical books from on my bookshelf. I want to scan it into my phone and put them on the app. So I think that I kind of want to make a video of it, maybe get a drink, eat something, and just go through my books and add as many of those to my database that's on my phone as I can. That way I just have them in there and I can just, work with it from on my phone and, not just on Goodreads, but I like that I can scan the barcode on the back of the book and it'll put it right into my library on my phone. So I think I'd like to make a video of that. Then I've got another video coming up for Black History Month, a deep dive into some goodies, into my Harlem Renaissance authors and such. So I've got some things coming up. Make sure that you take care of yourself this week. All right? I'll see you next time.